In 2026, the traditional definition of middle class has become a mathematical mirage. In several U.S. states, earning between $70,000 and $150,000, once the hallmark of comfortable living, now places families in a state of functional poverty. In these high-cost regions, after accounting for non-negotiable expenses like housing, $2,000 a month childcare, and the highest state taxes in the nation, the middle class is left with less discretionary income than families in low-cost states earning half as much. Here are the 7 states where being middle class in 2026 actually means you are struggling to stay afloat. 1. California. California is the epicenter of the middle-class squeeze. In 2026, a household income of $100,000 is increasingly viewed as the new poverty line in coastal metros like San Francisco and San Diego. The state suffers from a triple threat: astronomical housing costs, with median home prices exceeding $800,000, some of the highest gas taxes in the country, and a progressive income tax that hits middle earners hard. In 2026, many middle-income families are spending upwards of 50% of their take-home pay on rent or mortgages, leaving them house poor and unable to save for retirement. This has led to the California exodus, where the very people who power the economy, teachers, nurses, and first responders, can no longer afford to live in the communities they serve. 2. New York. In New York, the middle class is being taxed into extinction. As of 2026, the state carries one of the heaviest combined tax burdens in the nation, including a graduated income tax and high local property taxes. For a middle-class family in the Hudson Valley or Long Island, the cost of basic participation in society, childcare, commuting, and utilities is so high that 6-figure salaries often vanish before the end of the month. The New York premium is particularly brutal for those who don't qualify for social subsidies but don't earn enough to bypass the rising costs of private services. This has created a hollowed-out middle where residents are functionally living paycheck to paycheck despite high-prestige jobs. 3. Hawaii. Hawaii is the most expensive state in the Union in 2026, largely due to its imported cost of living. Because nearly everything, from milk to building materials, must be shipped in, the price of daily necessities is roughly 30% higher than the national average. In 2026, a middle-class income in Honolulu might buy a lifestyle that would be considered lower class in the Midwest. Electricity costs in Hawaii are nearly triple the national average, and the housing shortage has pushed even modest condos into the million-dollar range. For the middle class, Hawaii has become a place where you work 3 jobs just to afford a lifestyle that lacks any real wealth-building potential. 4. New Jersey. New Jersey is the land of property tax paralysis. In 2026, the Garden State continues to have the highest property taxes in the U.S., with many middle-class families paying over $15,000 a year just in land taxes. This hidden mortgage makes homeownership a liability rather than an asset for the middle class. When you combine these taxes with the high cost of commuting into NYC or Philadelphia, the take-home reality for a $120,000 earner is startlingly low. In 2026, New Jersey's middle class is characterized by high income, zero liquidity, where families have impressive resumes but can barely afford an emergency car repair without dipping into debt. 5. Massachusetts. Massachusetts, particularly the greater Boston area, has become a credentialed desert. While the state boasts high median salaries driven by the tech and biotech sectors, the cost of living has scaled even faster. In 2026, childcare costs in Massachusetts are the highest in the country, often exceeding the cost of a mortgage. For a middle-class family with 2 children, the childcare tax effectively wipes out one entire salary. This has created a 2-income trap, where both parents must work high-stress jobs just to maintain a standard of living that their parents achieved on a single, blue-collar income. 6. Colorado. Colorado is a new entrant to the middle-class poor list in 2026, driven by lifestyle gentrification. The massive influx of high-earning remote workers has caused housing prices in the Front Range to decouple from local wages. A middle-class earner in Denver or Boulder is now competing for housing with global capital, leading to a situation where a $90,000 salary provides little more than a small apartment and a high cost of outdoor recreation. The mountain tax, the high price of gear, passes, and travel, combined with rising food and utility costs, has left Colorado's traditional middle class feeling like tourists in their own hometown. 7. Washington. Washington state is grappling with regressive cost pressures in 2026. While the state has no income tax, it makes up for it with high sales and excise taxes that disproportionately hit middle-class consumption. In Seattle and its surrounding suburbs, the Amazon effect has pushed the middle-class entry point to nearly $130,000. For those earning less, the lack of affordable housing and the high cost of transportation, Washington has some of the highest gas prices in the U.S., create a financial suffocation. In 2026, the Washington middle class is finding that the no-income tax perk is a distraction from the reality that their cost of survival is higher than almost anywhere else. The 2026 middle class experience in these 7 states is a warning of economic decoupling. When the cost of housing, taxes, and basic services rises faster than wages for 2 decades, the middle becomes a precarious transition zone rather than a destination of stability. For families in California, New Jersey, or Hawaii, the strategy for 2026 is no longer about getting ahead, but about mitigating the burn. This may involve geographic arbitrage, moving to lower-cost states, or radical lifestyle downsizing. Unless these states address the underlying supply-side issues in housing and the regressive nature of their hidden costs, the middle class will continue to be the new poor of the American coast. The transformation of the American middle class in 2026 is a sobering reminder that gross income is a deceptive metric of prosperity. As we have seen in states like California, New York, and Massachusetts, a 6-figure salary has been downgraded from a symbol of success to a mere survival wage. This phenomenon of functional poverty is the result of a decades-long decoupling of local wages from the globalized costs of housing, childcare, and energy. For the 2026 middle class, the traditional path to wealth, homeownership, and steady savings is being blocked by a cost of living wall that leaves no room for error or emergencies. Ultimately, the 2026 economic landscape demands a radical shift in personal financial strategy. Living in a high-tax, high-cost state has become a lifestyle tax that many can no longer justify.